Hey guys, here we are again with another installment of the A to Z Mysteries, The Lucky Lottery by Ron Roy. Today we're going to be reading Chapter 8 and 9. Alright, the kids carried their skis across Bridge Lane and into the supermarket. The store was almost empty on the snowy Sunday afternoon. Look, Dink said, pointing to a small sign taped to the lottery machine. Closed for the storm, see you tomorrow. Just then, a teenager walked by. He was carrying a broom and a dustpan. The name tag on his shirt said Eric. Cool pooch, he said, smiling at Pal. Do you know if Dot is still here? Nope, she left a while ago. All happy. She goes like, Merry Christmas, Eric, and slips me $20. I go like, wow, thanks, Dot. Eric walked behind the counter. What a mess Dot left here, he mumbled as he began sweeping. Do you know if Dot's boss is around? Can we talk to him? Eric crouched down behind the counter. It's a her, not a him. The boss is Mrs. Milk. She's, out sick, though. She's had the flu all week. Eric said, standing up. The flu? But Dot told me she talked to... Dink said. Suddenly, Pal let out a howl. He buried his nose in a pile of dust Eric had swept up. What did you find? Josh asked. Let me have it, boy. Josh pried open Pal's mouth and pulled something out. Look, guys. Josh held out a small tinfoil bow tie. Ruth Rose took it from Josh, then pulled the other two out of her pocket. The three were exactly the same. The kids leaned over the counter. The floor was littered with tiny tinfoil bow ties. Suddenly, it all made sense. Dink could tell by the looks on their faces that Josh and Ruth Rose had figured it out too. Come on, he muttered, and he grabbed his skis and poles and hurried towards the exit. Josh and Ruth Rose followed with their skis. Let's go, pal, Josh told his dog. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? Ruth Rose asked once they were outside. Yeah, boy, have we been dopes. Let's go to Ellie's. They trudged through the snow and piled into the diner. Ellie looked up. Twice in one day. Excuse me. Twice in one day. 3 more hot chocolates? Thanks, Ellie, Dink said. The kids slid into a booth while Pal flopped down at their feet. So Dot is the crook, right? Right, Dink said. After Dot sold Hector his tickets, she must have kept the paper he wrote the kids' birthdays on. That's how she knew Lucky's ticket was the winner. But she didn't know where Lucky lived, so she had to go to the atrium to find out. She wouldn't want to talk to Hector, so she probably asked someone else where his grandkids lived. She must have dropped a bow tie while she was snooping, said Ruth Rose. Yeah, but then she went to Lucky's house and stole the card, Dink added, and dropped another bow tie in the snow. Then she made up that story about Joe to throw us off her trail, Ruth Rose said. Dink looked at Josh. I bet she described your face because she was looking right at you when you were drawing him. Yeah, and I was so dumb I didn't even notice it was me. Here you go, kids. Ellie brought their hot chocolate to the table. These are on me, and a little treat for Pal. Ellie set a bowl of chopped up hamburger in front of Pal's nose. Pal raised his head, blinked his big brown eyes at Ellie, and stuck his nose in the bowl. Thanks a lot, Ellie. Pal says thank you, too. Ruth Rose had been sipping her hot chocolate. You know, guys, we can't prove Dot stole the tickets. We know she did it, but Officer Fallon will say, where's the proof? Dink nodded. Yeah, that's exactly what he'll say. Well, unless we find the proof, this sure is going to be a lousy Christmas for Lucky's family. $7 million down the drain? The kid said, Josh. The kids drank their hot chocolate with glum expressions on their faces. From beneath the table came the sound of happy chomping. Chapter 9. Dink invited Josh and Ruth Rose to spend the night. They unrolled their sleeping bags in front of Dink's Christmas tree. Pal crawled inside Josh's bag and started snoring. While it snowed outside, the kids tried to figure out how to prove that .com had stolen Lucky's lottery ticket. If only we had a witness, Ruth Rose said from her sleeping bag. Too bad she didn't drop something with her name on it, Josh offered, warming his feet on Pal's body. That would be too easy, Dink mumbled. He crawled into his sleeping bag and closed his eyes. Then Dink was dreaming. But it wasn't a happy, the night before Christmas Eve kind of dream. This was a nightmare. Dink was outside somewhere, floundering in snow. He was barefoot, without gloves, and freezing. His tracks crisscrossed each other as he tried to find his way home. Dink yelled and sat up. From inside Josh's sleeping bag, Pal whimpered. It's okay, Dink whispered. He sat and thought for a minute, then crawled out of his bag. He tiptoed up the stairs and came down with his alarm clock in the hall. Dink made a phone call, then left a quiet message and returned to the living room. He set the alarm for 6 o'clock and put the clock in the foot of his sleeping bag. Then Dink climbed back in and went to sleep. When the alarm buzzed, Dink pressed the off button with his toes. He slipped out of his bag and shook Josh and Ruth Rose. Wake up and be quiet, he whispered. Josh yawned and Ruth Rose blinked her eyes. Silently, they watched Dink pull on his boots. Dink grinned. Come on, you guys. Meet me in the kitchen. There better be breakfast, Josh mumbled. Within minutes, the three kids were drinking orange juice and eating toast. Josh shared his bread with Pal, who then went back to Josh's warm sleeping bag. Dink told Josh and Ruth Rose about his nightmare. All I could see was my footprints in the snow. When I woke up, I thought about what Josh said about wishing Dot had left something with her name on it. He grinned. I know how we can prove Lucky's grandfather really did buy that ticket. How? Said Josh. Why'd you have to tell us in the middle of the night? Fingerprints, Josh said. Whose fingerprints would be on that stolen ticket? Dot's would be, if she stole it. But her prints would be on, said Ruth Rose. Now, let me see, who is this? Alright. But her prints would be on the ticket anyway, since she sold it to Lucky's grandfather. So what does that prove? Nothing, said Josh, or Dink. But Dot's fingerprints aren't the only ones on that ticket. Josh and Ruth Rose stared at him. You're right. Hector's fingerprints are on the ticket too, said Ruth Rose. Can they get prints off lottery tickets? Dink nodded. I think so. I saw a program about fingerprints on TV. Fingers are oily, and the oil stains paper when you touch it. We should tell Officer Fallon, Ruth Rose said. I left a message on his voicemail asking him to meet us at the lottery headquarters in Blue Hills. But that's 2 miles from here, Josh said. He glanced out the window. And it's still dark out. We can get there fast on skis, and by that time, the sun will be up. Are they even open? I bet a lot, asked Ruth Rose. I bet a lot of places are closed today because of the snow. I thought of that, Dink said. Setting the glasses in the sink, if the place is closed, .com won't be able to cash in the ticket. But if it's open, we'll catch her in the act. Then Lucky will be a millionaire times 7, said Josh. Let's get going, Dink said. We can get to Blue Hills fastest if we ski along the river. Dink scribbled a note to his parents, and then the kids went back to the living room and finished dressing. Suddenly, Josh's sleeping bag moved in a big Bump wiggled toward the opening, and Pal poked his nose out. He looked at Josh and woofed. "He wants to come with us," Josh whispered, rubbing Pal's silky ears. The kids grabbed their skis and poles and stepped outside. A full moon hung over green lawn, turning the snow to silver. The kids saw their breath as they skied out of Dink's yard and past Ruth Rose's house. They followed River Road south toward Blue Hills. Once they found their rhythm, the kids zipped along. Over the river, the sun slowly appeared. Silver became gold as night turned to day. Pal trotted happily along, his breath making small clouds. And that's where we're stopping for today, guys. The next one, we're going to finish this book. So, I'll see you tomorrow with another story. Bye.